Owning and operating a business is the American dream. That is, until HR issues like payroll and taxes, benefits administration, workers' compensation, and regulatory compliance lead to sleepless nights and reduced profits. Keeping focus on the core business and finding the right partners to help with ancillary functions like HR administration is why more than 500 companies across the country turn to Tryon Solutions. Tryon relieves the stress and burden of HR administration, so companies, small to large, can stay focused on why they went into business in the first place. Tryon's size provides client employees access to better benefits and HR services available usually to only large corporations, all while taking employer risk and regulatory strain off client backs. Tryon can help you attract and retain top talent, mitigate risk, and stabilize costs. Check it out at RelyOnTryon.com.
Welcome to Reboot the World, Campus Party's first ever digital edition. We are excited to have Daniel Russell Sr., Director of National Corporate Sales for Tryon Solutions. He's here today to present Dare to Be Different. Take it away, Daniel.
Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate it. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Russell from Tryon Solutions, and I'm just honored to be with you today. This is such an awesome time that we're in right now. You think about 20 years ago, COVID-19, this whole event would be over. It wouldn't happen. But instead, I'm here right now at Startup Nation at a studio here in Birmingham, able to reach you in over 30 countries around the world. That is what we are walking in and living in right now. And today we're going to talk about daring to be different. Already, you guys are different. If you're tuning in right now, you're different because you're taking an hour out of your day to get yourself better. Whatever that better may be, whatever your why is, today, you're looking for a reason and a way to improve. Now, some of you may be on right now and you may say, I'm actually not sure why I'm on. I'm actually not sure what I'm doing here. Maybe a friend sent you a link, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You're in the right place at the right time for the right reason. Now, dare to be different. Why? Why do we want to be different? You know, when you grow up, you're always trying to fit in with the crowd. You're trying to be maybe hanging out with the cool kids. You want to be one of the cool kids. You want to be a part of that group. It's something that's deep inside of us, and it starts to happen when we're in elementary school and we're trying to fit in with others, and we find that it takes you all the way through high school, college, and then outside of college, and you're always trying to chase that next thing. Albert Einstein made a quote, and his quote said, "The person that follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd, but the person who walks alone is likely to find themselves in places that no one has ever seen before." Albert Einstein was one of the greatest minds of all time. And why did he make a quote like that? Because I'm sure at a certain point in his life, maybe his entire life, he didn't fit in. He didn't fit in with the crowd. He maybe wasn't like all of the other kids in his neighborhood. He thought different. He acted different. I'm sure he talked a little bit different than all of them as well. And you know what? Albert Einstein, I would love to have sat down and seen what his mom and dad talked to him about when he was growing up. Because I would bet his mom and dad encouraged him to just be himself. Now, for you and I, maybe we didn't have that. I think back now at this point in my career, you know, it's awesome. At a company like Tryon Solutions, I get a chance to work with companies all across the country and some across the world, handling, you know, their payroll, their HR, their employees. And it gives us a beautiful perspective of all of the things that make people's dreams work. So today, while I'm talking to you, I want to talk to you about some of the things I wish my parents had told me. I want to talk about some of the things that maybe I wish I had known along the way. See, when I was a kid, we all had, I want to be like Mike. Now, when I say be like Mike, I'm talking about Michael Jordan, in my opinion, best basketball player of all time. Mike, if you happen to watch this, yes, I still agree. You're the best of all time. But when I was a kid, there was this awesome Gatorade commercial, and you had Michael Jordan playing in the schoolyard parks and playing with kids, and there was a little catchy jingle, and anybody who's seen the commercial, as I'm talking about it, it's playing in your head right now. I want to be like Mike. Well, at 5'9", all of a sudden one day this reality happened. I couldn't be like Mike. Mike was 6'6". Michael Jordan could do things with a basketball that no one has ever done before. So now you're growing up and you want to be like Mike. Now, for each one of you, as I'm telling that story, maybe it wasn't Michael Jordan. Maybe it was a dancer. Maybe it was a singer. Maybe it was an artist. But you had somebody when you were growing up that you said, wow, if I could be like that, that would be awesome. Well, guess what? The reality hits one day that you probably can't be that person. I'm sure, like most of you, there was a day, and I still remember it, that I went to my mom and dad and I said, I want to be president one day. Now, in my mom and dad's defense, they never thought that I would have an opportunity to be the president. But you know what they said to me? They said, Dan, that'll never happen. So that dream crushed right at that moment. Now, my parents still encourage me to go to school, encourage me to go to college, encourage me to, get out there and make a difference in the world. But they place limitations on me. And that's okay, because they could only go as far as maybe their imagination could go. And the reality is, most people have that challenge. You're not going to find people all the time that can believe in your dream. In fact, you're probably looking around you right now, and you can't find too many that understand your dream and understand your vision. I'm going to tell you one of the first things today that I want you to know: stop looking for other people to understand your vision and your dream. It's yours for a reason. It is yours. You were uniquely created. And guess what? That was for a reason. It was for a purpose. If you're looking for everybody else to carry out your destiny and your mission, you're going to come up empty, because guess what? They weren't called to be you. Only you can be you. So let's talk about being the next best you. I wish someone had told me that I could go out and I could be anything, do anything. One of the other speakers for Campus Party earlier yesterday was a 14-year-old young man that in his third world country that he grew up in, he had to drop out of high school. There was the neighborhood was famished, and guess what? He went out and he saw a book one day, and he took it and he figured out how windmills could turn power for his community. So wait a minute, at 14 years old with no resources and nothing more than a book with a picture on it, he was able to do that. So guess what? Each one of you have a dream. You're on this right now. You're watching this right now. Maybe some of you are stuck in that rut. Maybe some of you are just graduating, and maybe some of you are fresh out of college, and your counselor, your guidance counselor told you the perfect track that you're supposed to be on. Well, maybe you're already in your career, or maybe you're just at a job. I like to say job stands for just over broke. Guess what? Maybe you're not chasing your dream. The great thing about Campus Party, the great thing about what we're talking about today, is there's no age. There's no restriction. You can be in high school right now. You can be just out of college. Maybe you didn't go to college at all. Maybe you're 30 years removed from college, but that dream still sits deep down inside of you. It's like something that's burning inside of you. It's this weird thing that you just can't seem to escape. Maybe you've swept it under the rug. Well, again, as I said, when many of us were kids, We started to pursue that dream, and someone along the way told us it's just not possible. Why? They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe your dream. They couldn't believe your vision. We have some of the greatest minds in the world. When I was coming out of high school, I still joke, I'm not old at all, but I had the first cell phone in my high school. I mean, it's crazy to think about. If you're in high school right now, you're in college, or just anyone in general, can you imagine life without a cell phone? Believe it or not, I made it through elementary school, middle school. You know, my kids, when I tell them that, they're like, what are you talking about? There was a life without a cell phone? But years ago, there was. But I was the first one in my high school with a cell phone. It was one of those bag phones with the magnet. You had to yank it off. You thought you were cool, man. You put that phone up to your ear and you were driving. You thought you were cool. And I'll tell you what, I still remember the first time I probably talked for a little over an hour or so in a month, and we got a $600 phone bill because I decided I wanted to talk to my girlfriend on the way home every night. Not a smart move. Don't do that if you're still in high school and you want to run up a bill for your parents. But what I'm going to tell you is now every kid, kids in elementary school, kids in kindergarten, they're walking around with cell phones. So what does that say? That says that just within the last 25 years, think about that. We've gone from people having no cell phone at all to almost everyone in the world having a cell phone. You think about how we used to get around back when I was in high school. It was interesting. We actually gave people directions. It's a crazy concept. You would grab a piece of paper, you'd write it down, and somebody would tell you you're going to go 10 miles, you're going to hang a right, then you're going to hit a light, you're going to make a left, you're going to drive up a little bit further, and then if you see a red house, you went too far. Some of you are laughing because you remember those days. Now, well, it went to, you could put a GPS and put it in your car. Then your car started to be made with GPS. Then beyond that, now it's in everyone's phone. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Now, for most ideas that you see right now, you don't see all the failure that happened. You never see the failure. You see the success. You see the final result. You see that person on TikTok. You see them on Instagram. You see them on Facebook. You see them on CNN. You see them all over the world. And you see the finished product. You don't see when that entrepreneur or that CEO was sleeping in his car. You don't see when that famous actress or that famous author was waiting tables at a local diner, maybe working at a local hardware store. We don't see that part. That part's never glorified. The work, well, nobody likes to put a lot of emphasis on that. You see a lot of people talk about it, but you never quite see the process. You never see the things that go into that dream. We just get to experience the dream after it's actually become a reality. But see, failure isn't a bad thing. We all will experience it in our life. And as long as you look at failure the right way, then you'll never fail. I've heard people say, instead of failing, think about it as failing forward. If I look at failure as just one more opportunity to get a step closer to my dream, then I haven't failed. I've failed forward. So now what I want you to think about is, you're going to surround yourself in your life with people. You get that choice. Now, can you choose your family? No, you can't do that. Your friends, your circle of influence, the people you work with or work for, you do have control of that. So what I'm going to tell you is this. If you look around right now and you have a lot of people telling you all the reasons you can't do something, that's a problem. Because you need to find all of the reasons you can. See, I'm sure that young man, when he was putting together the windmill to bring power to his community, I'm sure a lot of people laughed at him. I'm sure a lot of people looked and they said, you're 14 years old, kid. What are you going to do? 14. You know what? Just go work in the fields. Go do what everybody else is doing. Just accept defeat. Accept that there's nothing we can do. Accept that you're helpless and that you can't change anything. That's what people probably told him. That's what people probably said. He had a lot more people telling him what he couldn't do. Maybe no one told him. So guess what? If I'm the first person to tell you today, I'm going to tell you you can. I'm going to tell you that anything's possible. I'm going to tell you that if you can dream it, you can accomplish it. See, if you find yourself in a circle of people that can tell you all the things that won't work, you're surrounded by negativity. I mean, let's call it what it is, guys. The world that we live in right now, especially in the last 90 days, wow, has there been a lot of negativity? Social media, you have a lot of people who want to voice their opinions, and that's fantastic. It's fantastic that we have the opportunity to voice our opinion. But right now, I recognize I'm speaking to the world at this moment. Maybe you're in a community that you can't. Maybe you're in a community that you don't have the opportunity to speak your opinion the same way. Well, guess what? You do have the opportunity to choose who you surround yourself with. If you look around your circle and you're in a circle of negativity, you're in a circle with a lot of people who want to tell you all the reasons it won't work, all the doom, the gloom. They want you to buy into their pity party. Well, guess what? It's time to find a new circle. And at first, that circle may be a circle of one. And that's okay. It's okay to be in a circle of one. Because sometimes you're the only person that can understand your vision, your dream. People like Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Elon Musk, come on. They didn't have a lot of people telling them that this could work. An electric car, Elon? What a crazy idea. No, just go put gas in it. Go fill up at the gas station, Elon. We're never going to have a car that drives around. What are we, the Jetsons? Now, for some of you that don't know the Jetsons, look it up. For some of you in high school right now, you missed out on a great cartoon. Okay, but what's really funny is when I was growing up, the Jetsons, it was this futuristic thing that was this cartoon that was unimaginable. But it was interesting. George Jetson would get onto the screen and he would talk to his wife. And everybody thought it was so cool that his wife would pop up on the screen and they could have a conversation. And it was futuristic. Come on, what do we want to call that now? FaceTime? Zoom? Well, we've got GoToMeeting, we've got Skype, we've got Microsoft Teams. How many different ways can we do that now? Think about right now. I'm in your room and you are millions of miles away. You're in a different country, some of you. But years ago, that was a crazy cartoon that we watched and we laughed about it. George Jetson got into a spaceship and it shot up and it took him somewhere. And guess what? I truly believe that we're not far away from that. Maybe one of the people I'm talking to right now, maybe that's your idea. We have self-driving cars right now. We're not that far removed, people. So now as I talk about this, maybe you say, man, there's so many awesome dreams. For a moment right now, I don't care where you are. You may be watching me at the office. You may be at home. You may be in the car. If you're in the car, please keep your eyes on the road and don't look at me, just listen to me, okay? But what I want you to do right now is I want you to just look around for a moment. Look around your room, your office, your car, wherever you are. There's one thing that every single one of us have in common, no matter where we are at this moment. Every one of us are surrounded by somebody else's dream. What do you mean, Dan? Well, you look around you, well, I've got dreams on the wall all behind me. That thing over there, believe it or not, it's the first computer. I mean, that's what they used to look like. Right now we have phones that can do so much more than that, but That was somebody's dream. The camera on the wall, it was somebody's dream. The couch you're sitting on, the bed, the TV, the phone you're using, it was all somebody's dream. That cup you picked up, that straw you put in it, was somebody's dream. So you have surrounded your life and your world with other people's dreams. Maybe it's time to change that up. Maybe it's time to start filling your world with your dreams and your ideas and your vision. Again, don't look for that circle to be too big just yet. Don't look for that cheering section to always be there. Now, I just got reminded that as you guys have questions, please, you can type them into the chat, and I promise you I'm going to give about 10 minutes at the end that I'll be able to answer questions for you. Because I want you to leave today inspired, encouraged. And as I said, I may be the first person in a long time, and maybe ever, to tell you that you can do it. Now, when you start to look around the room, something else can happen. And I'm just going to call it out. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to look around and say, Dan, every great idea is already gone. To Elon Musk, he just sent somebody up in outer space. I can't do that. Every great idea is gone. But see, when Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, there was already MySpace. There was already a social network that you had the ability to talk to other people. You had the ability to connect with others. But Mark still said, I think this is a pretty good idea. I think he did something with it. But look at all the other ideas that have started. There's several other ideas that people have come up with. Every great idea is not gone yet. It's not taken. I have a great mentor and friend of mine that taught me. He said, Dan, you just take something and find a way to make it just a little bit better. That's one idea. The next idea is maybe take something that's never been done before and then do it. Try it. Every great idea started somewhere. It started with the first step. If you don't have that first step, it will never happen. Guaranteed. You guys know the old adage, you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So now you stop and you say, gosh, are you actually talking to me about dreaming? See, that's something that we don't talk about anymore in school. See, we're chasing ACT scores. We're chasing SAT scores. We're chasing GPAs. We're chasing acceptances into colleges. Well, some of the greatest minds didn't go to college. Some of the greatest minds, maybe you didn't even hear from while they were at college. You didn't see how special they were until they got out of college. So you have to realize that your path does not necessarily have to be someone else's path. We talked about those guidance counselors. First off, my hat goes off to them because they sit down with people every single day and they try to help them on their path. But unfortunately, sometimes that guidance counselor may give you the same advice that they gave 1,000 other students before they talk to you. Well, getting that job doesn't sound so exciting. That paycheck, it's just a check. It doesn't matter who you talk to. There's a lot of people who have no money. There's people who have a ton of money. And I'll tell you what, I've come across some people with a lot of money that don't have that one thing called happiness. That one thing that they're trying to seek and they can never quite grasp it. See, you shouldn't chase money. You're always going to have bills. You'll get paid to do a job. But when you chase your dream, you chase your vision, you chase your passion, guess what? You'll never work a day in your life. because you will always be chasing your dream. You'll always be doing something you love. So again, they don't talk to you about that in elementary school. Junior high, it doesn't get brought up. High school, it's the stress of, I've got to get into the right college. I've got to get accepted. What if I don't get a perfect ACT or SAT score? I'm not enough. I'm less than. I'm already getting defined by numbers. I'm getting defined by how I can be compared to other people. See, that sets you up for failure. Because inevitably, somebody's going to get a higher GPA. Somebody's going to get a higher ACT score or SAT score. Maybe you don't get that acceptance into that college that you were trying to get into. Or better yet, now you graduated. Congratulations. What if you're in the class of 2020 this year? And I know I'm talking to some of you right now. In fact, there's probably a lot of you right now that just went through a senior year like you could have never imagined. It's not how you expected it. You didn't get to walk across the stage the way that you wanted to. You didn't get a chance to spend those last few months with your friends the way you wanted to. That story, it's not how you would have scripted it. But guess what? This chapter does not define the book. It does not define your life. You're not defined by a GPA. You're not defined by a SAT score or an ACT score. And as much as that college graduation, it probably hurt if you didn't get it, guess what? It doesn't define you. It's a part of you. It definitely is. And that time that you get at school, those relationships that you make, the knowledge that you're able to be able to gain, we've got some great universities that are partnered up with Campus Party. In fact, I believe I saw the number was over 600 universities are taking part in this 3-day event. Find a university that wants to make you better. Find a university that wants you to make them better. Find a university that says, I want to see you. I want you to be unique. See, I've had the blessing of talking to a lot of college acceptance officers across the country, and they're looking for something different. Because at a certain point, every application looks the same. Every ACT score looks the same. GPA, well, we're all the same. What makes you different? So think about that for a minute. That's what we're talking about today. Dare to be different. We go through school, we go through college, we talk about all this stuff, and we're finding a way to fit in with the crowd. We're trying to follow along with what everybody else is doing. But then we get ready to go to college, and they say, what makes you different? How are you unique? What makes you special? Now, I know I've talked to a lot of kids when they get to that junior, senior year and they're getting ready to apply and they go, I don't know what to write in this essay. It's asking me what makes me different, what makes me unique, what makes me special. In the last several years, all I've been focused on is being like everybody else. Now, how about you get out of college? I'm talking to people right now that are fresh out of college. You've got this degree. You put it in a beautiful frame. It's hanging on your wall. Congratulations, you graduated. And then you try to apply for a job. And guess what? Your application looks just like everybody else's. So now what are they looking for? What makes you unique? What makes you different? They're looking for what's special about you. Well, I went to this college and I got this GPA and I took these classes. And they look and say, congratulations, you and several hundred other candidates all did the same thing. What makes you different? What makes you unique? What makes you special? See, again, these are the things that you're not always taught. These are the things that at home, you know what? You can have the most amazing parents and still not be taught this. Maybe you grew up in a one-parent household. That's okay too. But you may not have had anybody talking to you about being unique, about being different, about being special. And see, I'm not talking about be like Mike. Because, yeah, Michael Jordan was special. He was able to do things other people weren't able to do. That's why we love sports. We gravitate to amazing athletes and musicians and actors and people that can do things that, man, we can't do, and we're in awe of it. But every single one of us has something special. Every one of us is uniquely created to do something different. But it all starts with the first step. You have to take that first step. Today may be a part of you taking that first step. Today, maybe I'm talking to somebody right now that's in the middle of a job situation and you're trying to figure out, should I take this job that looks like the safe route? Should I take this job because maybe it pays a little bit more? But there's something about this job over here. There's something about this job over here that there's something in my stomach that kind of jumps when I think about it, when I talk about it, when I read that job post. There was something that made your heart skip. Maybe it's because it was a chance for you to chase your dream. Now I'm going to throw another one at you. Maybe some of you are watching right now and you say, Tim, this all sounds good, but really, I don't want to work for anybody. I don't like working for people. I really kind of want to do my own thing. That's okay. There's something special about you as well. You have an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm talking to a lot of people right now where we're talking about rebooting the world. Campus Party Digital Edition is talking to over 30 countries, and we're reaching over 3 million people right now. Over 3 million people. But guess what? I've got a lot of people watching right now who have great ideas. You're not looking for the next job. You're not looking for the next paycheck. You're looking for your dream to actually become a reality. Now, in order to do that, there's a place that you have to get to in your life where you're comfortable being uncomfortable. What do you mean, Dan? Well, people have to push you. First off, you're going to have some doors closed in your face. You're going to have some people tell you that dreaded 2-letter word, no. You're going to have some people tell you you're out of your mind. It'll never work. Smile when you hear that. Smile. That means I'm thinking even bigger than other people can imagine. That's a fantastic place to be. It's a great place to be when your ideas and your vision are bigger than other people can even conceptualize. It's a beautiful place to be. Now, what about when you find that person who says, okay, you got an idea? You got a dream? I'll help you, but I'm going to push you. Your coach, your teacher, your parent, your mentor, every one of us hopefully had one of those people in their life. I know for me, I had some amazing ones. But here's what I'm going to tell you. It wasn't always comfortable. It wasn't always hunky-dory coming home to maybe try to tell my mom about that sporting event. And she wanted to talk about my algebra test. Well, guess what? She was pushing me to get better. She was pushing me to be the best me. Your coach, maybe every now and then you had that coach that you thought they didn't like you. They pushed you. That teacher that seemed to just ride you all the time. Maybe it's because they saw something in you. Maybe it's because they saw that you were different. Maybe they recognized that you were unique and special. And they wanted to push you to being the best you. Don't shy away from that. Don't shy away from greatness. If you've got somebody in your life who's pushing you to be better, press in. Encourage it. In fact, reach out to that person and say, will you hold me accountable? Guess what? One thing I've learned about a lot of successful people, they love to help others. I love when I have the opportunity to do just what I'm doing today. which is maybe help you, even if it's just that much. I've made a difference today. Find that person that's willing to push you. Find that person that's willing to make you uncomfortable, not for their benefit, but for yours. And when they start to push you, guess what? Some criticism may come. It's a crazy concept. They may not always agree with you. They may not always like your idea. That beautiful whiteboard of ideas and visions may be scratched off and erased and start over. See, I remember something when I was a kid. I remember writing this long essay. Yes, I just said writing a long essay. I didn't type it up on my laptop. Lined paper and a pencil. Now, there's something very important about the pencil, so stay with me here. I wrote this essay. I thought it was pretty good, actually. It's about 8 pages long. And my mom told me, she said, when you're done with it, bring it to me, and I'll look it over for you. Now, see, my mom and dad had started a newspaper from 2 sheets of paper, and it went on to become a very large newspaper later on. And it inspired me. But now I am taking my 8-page essay to my mother, who was an eloquent speaker and writer. I remember handing it to her, and much to my dismay, she pulled out a red marker. Now, remember how I did this paper? Remember we just talked about this? I know for a couple of you, you're still struggling with the concept of I wrote the paper. Yes, I wrote it down, 8 pages, on lined paper. But see, I wrote it with a pencil for a reason, because if I had a mistake or a correction that needed to be made, I could just erase it, and we were going to be good. But the several hours of work that I put in was all demolished when my mom pulled out the red pen. So she's sitting here with this red marker, scratch, erase, missed comma, missed punctuation, another word. And on all 8 pages, there was a red mark. And she handed it back to me. I had to start over. I'm thinking, Mom, I could have erased it. I could have corrected it. Why? Why did you put this red marker all over my paper? But guess what? I had to go back to the drawing board. Some of you may feel like that's happened to your dream or your vision. You may feel like somebody came through and wrote all over it with red permanent marker. And you have to go back and you have to start over. It's okay. That doesn't mean that your dream is crushed. It doesn't mean that your vision wasn't real. It just means that somebody's pushing you to be better. You're going to get criticism. You're going to get people that say you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Guess what? It's your vision. Other people may not be able to understand your vision. That's okay. Criticism will come. It's going to. There's not one person in this world that's ever achieved something along the way that never got any type of criticism. See, perfection, it's okay to chase it, but you won't reach it every time. You won't see perfection happen over and over and over. See, perfection is the process. You've got to love the process of getting there. But again, when you love what you do, when you love your dream, when you love your goal, when you love your vision, and you're chasing your passion, then guess what? It's okay. It doesn't hurt as much because the reality pops up that I'm doing what I love every day. So for each one of you right now, as you're watching this, you're different. You already know you're different. Maybe you're looking for that immediate success. It doesn't happen. You'll have victories along the way. Celebrate those victories. Don't wait until you get to the finish line to celebrate each step of the way. Now, don't take too long celebrating, okay? Because somebody will pass you as you're celebrating. But take moments out to celebrate small victories. A small piece of your idea came to fruition. That's fantastic. Celebrate it. You got a chance to pitch your idea to somebody else and they listened and they thought some parts of it were good. Celebrate that. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that I'm speaking to right now that maybe tried to lose weight once or twice in your life. Well, you work out, you eat better, you do all the little things, and then the day comes and you step on the scale and you didn't lose any weight. In fact, sometimes, don't you hate it? You gained weight. You're going, wait a minute, I did everything I was supposed to do. I ate right for the last few days. I was drinking more water. I did a couple workouts, but it didn't happen. That weight didn't come off. I don't understand. It's the process. It's understanding your why. It's, again, chasing that. Well, are you chasing a number on a scale or are you chasing a lifestyle change? Are you eating better because you want to be healthier? You want to feel better? You want to lengthen your life? There's so many reasons to do it. Hey, maybe you just got a vacation coming up with some friends that you want to look good when you're down there, okay? I get it. But remember your why. Remember why you're chasing it. And understand that the immediate success doesn't always come. But when you change that lifestyle and you take that first step, guess what? After the first step, you know what comes next? The second one, and then the third, and then the fourth. And then you will wake up one day, and maybe you turn around, and you'll see how far you've come. But if you don't take that first step, I can guarantee you something today. The dream will never happen. See, Steve Jobs right there's a great quote of his right on the wall. It says, only those crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. Be crazy enough. Be crazy enough to think you can change the world. Be crazy enough to think you can impact the world. As I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you right now, I promise you, there were several days in my life that I never thought that I would be sitting here with you right now. Some of the other guest speakers, I looked at my wife today, even as I was driving to the studio, getting ready to come into your home or your office, and I was humbled because I'm looking at all the other speakers. I'm hearing about all the great things that they've accomplished. And I'm humbled that I've had the opportunity to be here with you. There were a lot of failures along the way. I'll tell you what, I only have 60 minutes today. If I were to start talking about the failures, I'd need a whole lot more time. But I'm here to tell you with full transparency, there were a lot of failures along the way. There were a lot of missteps. There were a lot of ideas that they didn't work. But there were a lot that did. And there were a lot of things that I chased that I finally actually got it. And it took time. It took people telling me no. It took people telling me everything I couldn't be. I still remember my mom and dad telling me I couldn't be president one day. Well, a few other people have taken that role, and I promise you this is not my chance to announce my campaign. But I still found a lot of things in my life that I could achieve. Now, after today, this will go and maybe it inspires you to take one step, maybe the next, and then next week you look around, there's no Dan Russell. Maybe you watch this again and maybe it helps you get through another few days. But then you get sick of hearing me. I know talking to my wife and 6 kids, they get sick of hearing from me all the time. But find that person. Find that speaker. Find that person who will push you to be a better you. Find some of the inspirational speakers out there. Find Eric Thomas. Find a Tony Robbins. Find some of the greats that will encourage you to be the best you. A lot of them will put free content out there. Some of you are sitting here going, Dan, this all sounds great, but I am broke. I can't do it. I can't sign up. I can't go to this event. I can't go to the, I just need a break. I understand. These are the days that you need to press in and appreciate the struggle, because it can be a struggle some days. So you'll never realize how close you are to your dream unless you keep going. There's a lot of people that were just 1 or 2 steps away from that big accomplishment, and they hung it up. They lost one time too many. They were told no one too many times when they were just 1 step away from their yes. Keep pressing toward that dream. Because the reality is, if you keep pressing and you keep pressing and you keep pressing, sometimes you'll find that the original dream and goal that you had may have changed. See, right now, as you're sitting in your room or you're watching this at your desk, maybe I've inspired you a little bit to start thinking about that dream that you had swept away, or that idea. Don't shoot it down. As you start to go, maybe? No. Get the thought out of your head. The distractions will come. The distractions in life will always be there. That's a 100% guarantee. You will always have distractions in your life. But you have a choice. You have a choice to focus on the distraction or focus on your goal. Focus on your vision. Focus on your dream. Put it up in your room. Write it down on the wall. See, when I was a kid, I had that poster of Michael Jordan on my wall. Now, as I think back today, it was great that I had a guy that I was looking up to on my wall. But unfortunately, at one point, when I started to realize I probably wasn't going to be Michael Jordan, every time I looked at that wall, I was seeing everything I couldn't be. How about you fill your room with your ideas? How about you put on the wall your goal, your vision, your dream? You'll talk to a lot of motivational speakers that'll talk about that dream board or that dream wall, that car you want to get, that boat you want to get, that house you want to get. Listen, that's part of it. I'm not telling you not to do that. That is, again, some of the best advice, because if you don't have those goals and sometimes they don't become visual, it becomes very hard to get there. But I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about looking at a wall or a vision of yourself. I'm talking about looking at the picture of everything you can be. Put that on your wall. Put that on your screensaver. Write it down. Have those words every time you swipe your phone. My pastor did that one time. There was something he really wanted to focus on, and he put it right on his phone. So every time he looked at it, he would see it, and it would be a reminder for him. Do that. Find that thing that you go to every day. Find that thing that every time you look at it, put it in your mirror or on your mirror in your bathroom. Put it next to your bed. Put it on your TV. Put it on your steering wheel. Remind yourself every day of everything that you can be. Not everything someone else is doing. Listen, when you start focusing on other people, I think we've all seen it. And gosh, it's so hard sometimes when that idol or that person that you looked up to, that news story comes out and they fell from grace. They were human. They did something that demolished your vision of them. Guess what? It's going to happen. Nobody's perfect. But we should never be looking for that person to become them. Become you. Become the best you. Because unfortunately, in today's society, there are a lot of great people doing a lot of great things, but sometimes it's hard to find role models. Think about it. For a moment, stop and think about the people you would consider role models in your life. See, when you stop and think about it, it's hard to find that person that you just say, gosh, I want to be that person as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a father, as a business owner, as a person in the community, as a speaker, as an inventor, well, no, you know why? Because you know what you're looking for? You. You're trying to look for you. And you will never find you completely in another person. But if you take the time to stay focused on yourself, your goal, your dream, your vision, and you chase that, then congratulations. At the end of your race, you will have found the best you. You will have discovered everything that you can be. That is where you want to get to. Maya Angelou had a quote. She said, if you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. If we're always trying to chase everyone else, if we're always trying to be a part of the crowd, then you know what you'll become? The crowd. Become the best you. I hope today I've given you the opportunity to think a little deeper, to dream a little bit bigger, maybe to dream again, or maybe to dream for the first time. But today, if no one else has ever told you, you can do it. Anything that you put your mind to, you can accomplish it. Dare to be different. Dare to be great. Now, as promised, we're right at 10 minutes. Question and answer time. I'm on the hot seat, gloves off. You're allowed to ask whatever you want. I'm going to hear it in my ear, and I promise you I'm going to answer to the best of my ability. So, Jason, I'm on the hot seat now, my friend. Do I have any crazy questions right now? Or just good ones? I'll take any of the above.
Well, Dan, I have to say you definitely are inspiring. I know that I am inspired, and we do have one question, which I think a lot of people would probably want to know the answer to this one. What is your secret to staying so positive?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. You know, one of the things that I'll say is this. I wake up every day with one sole purpose, and that is to help as many people as I can in the 24 hours that God's given me. It's challenging some days, because some days when you recognize how many people there are out there to help, it can become overwhelming, because you realize you can't get to all of them in that 24 hours. But what I try to do is I try to stay focused on those people that I did have the opportunity to help that day, and those people I did have the opportunity to impact. You know, every day I will not get the chance to speak to, 3 million plus people around over 30 countries. And it's an honor to be able to do so. But tomorrow I may get a chance to speak to a 10-year-old boy who somebody just needed to tell him that he's okay, and that it's okay that he's a little bit different. And I love having that opportunity. And it doesn't matter if you're a motivational speaker or a public speaker. You may be talking to your neighbor. You may be talking to a homeless person on the street. Hey, you wanna impact the world? Stop and buy a pizza. Take it to somebody on the side of the road. Take a moment to help someone else see that someone sees them, that someone recognizes them. And things like that go a long way. And so what I try to do is I try to surround myself with positive people, people that will continue to support me. And I just try to change the world one person at a time as often as I can.
Great, thank you. So you talked a little bit about a dream board or a mini column vision boards. If you have a dream board or a vision board, what's on it, or who inspires you the most?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. On my dream board, wow. I've got some really unique things on my dream board. On my dream board, one of the first things I do is the company that I'm honored to work for, Tryon Solutions. I'm always pushing to see how I can help impact every member of our company and every client that we have, and every day try to make them better. Now that's an easy, low-hanging fruit one. But then I'm married with 6 kids. My vision board is I want each one of my kids to be able to dream bigger. I still want my wife to dream. I want all of them to believe that they still can become anything. I don't want to ever be that person that has told someone what they couldn't do. So on my dream board, honestly, Jason, one of the things that I'll say, today I'm living one of them. My goal is to take the positive energy and the ideas and the thoughts that God's put in my head and my heart, and to be able to reach the world. Because I remember, I remember just one night coming in after a long day. I was working hard. I had stopped. I had mentored somebody, and I got home, and my whole family was asleep. The lights were off, and it had been a really long day. And I remember stopping and thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I miss it? Was I focused on the wrong things? And I just remember everything in me realizing that I was helping God's children, and he was taking care of mine. And so today, I'm living one of my dreams. I'm living one of my dreams because I have the opportunity and the honor and privilege of being alongside some of these amazing, amazing speakers today. And I've got the opportunity to reach people around the world. And so as I look at my vision board, this is one step closer to being a speaker that can impact the nations. And so that is probably one of my biggest dreams and visions on my dream board. And I'm thankful today that you guys have allowed me the opportunity to take one step closer to that big, big dream. And I appreciate the people that are watching, because you're helping me live my dream.
Well, there is no doubt that you are inspiring many people. We do have another question.
Yes.
It seems like we all have missteps in our life. How were you able to pick yourself up after a misstep?
Wow. That's hard, right? I mean, those missteps, those mistakes, those are all those times that you start looking and you can start hearing all those voices. You can start hearing all the things that you did wrong. You can look at, man, I'm following this stereotype. Now I'm falling into this category, or I'm becoming this person. And I really had to find my identity. And I would be remiss if I answered any other way other than I found my identity in God, and I realized that I can never be who everybody else wanted me to be, and that if I tried to be that, ultimately I was always going to let somebody down. It's tough because you try to be the best husband. Well, guess what? You're going to make mistakes. You try to be the best father. You do everything you can. And man, when I know the parents that are listening right now, you understand. You do everything you can. You do your best. You pour your heart and your soul, and you try to make sure that your child never gets hurt, and your child never fails, and your child never runs into any obstacles, and they just come out perfect. And you just realize some days you suck at being a parent, and that's okay. Because at the end, when you have one of your kids walk up to you and they just say thank you, or I love you, Daddy, or I know you were only trying to do your best, and thank you for that. I'm blessed that I've had my kids come tell me that. And those missteps, guys, they hurt. They really hurt. Some of those missteps are years. And I'm not going to sit here in front of all you guys and tell you that, hey, I got over that misstep in a day. Sometimes it took years. And it took people telling me that I was special and I was different. And it can happen. but don't find those people who want to continue to point out all of your failures and all of your missteps and all of your mistakes. Find those people that want to look past that and see who you can become and everything you can be. Because if you focus on the past and you continue to live in the past, then you're guaranteed to focus on that distraction and you'll never get to where you're trying to get to.
Great. We do have another question.
Okay.
I have a business idea, but no startup capital. How do you suggest I get started or break through?
Wow. I think for many entrepreneurs, we've been there. Every one of us has been there, right? You've got this great idea. It looks great on a board. People are talking to you and it all sounds good. And then you start checking the pockets and they're empty, and you go to the bank and, well, there's no money in the account. But that's when you have to, number one, focus on where have you been making those deposits? Are you making those deposits into your vision, into your heart, into your passion? And first off, be willing to struggle. Okay, and I'm saying this, and I truly, with my whole heart, believe that this is reaching somebody right now. Don't be afraid of the struggle and the sacrifice. Don't be afraid to be that person that maybe you have to work 2 or 3 jobs. Don't be afraid that today, whatever that title or that name tag says on your uniform isn't what you're trying to do. But guess what? If it gives you the means to get there, you're working towards your goal. You're not working for that company. You're not a cashier. You're not someone washing a car. You're not someone who's a server at a restaurant. You are just taking steps toward your goal, your vision, and this is just one of the ways to get there. So don't ever underestimate the ability to go out and earn money, save it, and just get enough startup capital. There are also so many amazing companies. There's so many great places that are incubators that you can bring your idea to, and they will connect you. Connection is everything. You can't do it alone. That's one of the pitfalls of daring to be different and doing it on your own, because unfortunately, sometimes you think, okay, I've got to do this by myself. You won't have to do it all by yourself, because you're going to find other people that are looking for you. They're waiting for your great idea. They're waiting for your vision, and they have money. They want to invest in you. They've been waiting to invest in you. Those people are out there, but if you haven't come across them yet, then that is when the grind, the hustle, the grit, you've got to love it. And if you're chasing your dream and you're chasing your passion, then every time that you're hustling, every time that you're sweating, every time that you're leaving that job that is not the ideal position for you, that check is one step closer. So just don't worry about getting it overnight. Worry more about the vision and not being afraid to struggle and sacrifice along the way, because I'll tell you, there's so many greats. There's so many great inventors, great musicians. You hear about, I believe I read a story one time about Beyonce, and she was in the studio, I think she said for like 2 or 3 days straight. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep, she didn't go home, she didn't take a nap. She just was in the studio recording, and it was all coming out. And guess what we saw? Well, we saw the music video. We saw the platinum record. We saw her and Jay-Z walking up as they're getting their award. But we didn't see the 3 days in the studio. And I'm sure she did not look like a supermodel those 3 days. The hair was probably pulled back. She probably had bags under her eyes, but she wanted it so bad that she was willing to do it. So remember your why. Remember your why. Remember why you got started. Remember everything that you can become. And then don't be afraid to struggle. Don't be afraid to live in your mom or dad's basement. Don't be afraid to share an apartment with a friend who maybe has their vision and their dream and their goal. Don't be afraid of what everybody else thinks it should look like, because on the other end, when they see you walking across the stage, when they hear you speaking, that's all they're going to see. But you will remember what it took to get there.
We have time for one more question, and I really like this question. What would you tell your younger self if you had the opportunity?
Whew. To not be scared to dream, and dream big. You know, if I had the opportunity to go back and talk to my younger self, I'd say, maybe you can be the president. Maybe you can. Maybe you can go on to do this or that. Dream bigger and don't be scared. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to not fit in. Walk through your life with no fear whatsoever and just chase it. Get after it, because at the end, what you'll find, it may not be what you originally thought, but that's what success looks like. We all have this warped vision of what success is. Success is not living in a $1 million house and driving that Ferrari and that Bentley. Those are just things that come with it. The success will come when maybe you're looking at your wife or your husband or your children and you're watching them live their dream or take your dream to that next step. That dream, that success may be when you're sitting in your office and maybe you don't have any employees. Maybe it's just you, but you see your commercial. You see your product on Amazon. You see that small widget that you created and it's operating in something that's making a difference in the world. Every single one of us has a chance to make a difference in the world. And if I had a chance to go back and talk to my younger self, I would tell my younger self that you can make a difference in this world, and you will.
Dan, thank you so much for sharing today. You referenced several great speakers earlier in your presentation, and I would have to say, I would put Daniel Russell Sr. up there as far as one of the greatest speakers. You've truly been an inspiration for all of us. I would like to thank you and Tryon Solutions for being part of Campus Party Digital Edition USA, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate you, and I promise you, if you ask, I'll be back. And thanks again for everybody around the world who took the time today to listen, and I really hope that I inspired you. I hope I encouraged you. Dare to be different. Be great. God bless.
The challenging times faced by business these days have shown the difficulty in managing HR issues and maintaining profitability. Keeping focus on the core business and finding the right partners to help with ancillary functions like HR administration is why more than 500 companies across the country turn to Tryon Solutions. Tryon relieves the stress and burden of HR administration, so companies, small to large, can stay focused on why they went into business in the first place. Small companies turn to Tryon to manage their payroll and taxes, benefits administration, workers' compensation, and regulatory compliance, so they don't need to build a big HR department. Larger companies add Tryon as an extension of their existing HR staffs, achieving efficiencies and enhancing the bottom line. Check out Tryon at RelyOnTryon.com and receive a free consultation from one of its business advisors. It'll be the best business decision you'll ever make.